Gary Atencio with CNTV, and today we're in Massachusetts introducing a transformational coach that believes success shouldn't come at the expense of your well being, helping you quiet the noise and let your soul shine. I'm joined here with the Soul Connector. Jennifer, thanks so much for joining us here today.
Thanks for having me.
I'm going to go back a little bit on yourself. First of all, you were formerly educated at New York University with a master's in nursing. You continued your education in health and wellness at the National Institute of Whole Health. You've also served as an adjunct professor at the Endicott College School of Nursing. Did the belief that you are responsible for your happiness and health, did that exist in your mind way back when you started entering into school and into the medical field? Take us back to that initial mindset.
Absolutely not. I was always on a quest for health and happiness, but I was doing it, I think, the wrong way. I was letting my ego lead, and I was trying to prove that I was enough. I was trying to show up for everybody, show up for everything. And it really took my kids' health challenges to let me know that actually I can't find health and happiness outside of myself. I have to find it within myself.
That a whole different person back then. Your mindset was totally different. As a former critical care nurse with a master's in nursing administration, you operated in a high stakes, evidence based environment. What was the driving factor that made you pivot from this structured, logical profession to the more intuitive and holistic field of coaching?
Absolutely. What a great question. First off, I would say that, like many of us, we are thinking if I do these things, then I'm going to be healthy and happy. If I follow this path, then I'm going to find the pot of gold at the end, right? Of
Yep.
course. But life doesn't always happen the way that we want it to happen. And so it really took my kids, one of my sons, my second son was born and had a massive neonatal stroke at birth. And I would call that my awakening moment because although I thought I thrived in chaos in the critical care setting, when it became personal, I realized that chaos was overwhelming and that I did not thrive. It was creating even more chaos because I was trying to control things that I didn't have control of. And it really showed me the gaps in healthcare. And so this was when I really started looking to bridge those gaps with alternative holistic health and healing, with self-help first. Everything I did for myself and my family, and I realized how absolutely transformational that was. So I realized that healing started within myself, but also advocating for myself and advocating for my children, understanding that I am the co-creator of my life and my children's life. And I had to connect first with myself, then with my children in order to advocate for them. And then a couple of years later, my third son had leukemia, and I used everything that I learned from when my son first had that stroke. So I practice what I preach and teach.
Interesting. So we're talking a pause in life definitely stopped you to rethink things. Your story, it's rooted in overcoming personal and family health battles. How does drawing on your own experiences with presence, purpose, and trust really enhance your effectiveness when guiding clients through their own emotional and physical struggles, would you say?
Well, just like Brene Brown says, if you're not in the arena getting your butt kicked, I don't want to hear it. And I've been in the arena. I've been in multiple arenas, getting my butt kicked and picking myself up and moving on and learning from those experiences that knock me down and calling on my tools to pull myself back up. So this is really, I think, the empowering part of what makes me a great coach is that I've been there and I meet people where they are. And there really isn't a whole lot that I haven't seen or experienced. So I really can relate to where people are. And I know that there is no one size fits all. There's no quick fix for anything. It's really about learning to trust the wisdom inside of yourself, the wisdom of your soul to guide you. And it's really about figuring out what is the right thing for you. Not what everybody else is telling you the right thing is, but what's the right thing for you. And let that guide you and trust it to guide you. That's the key.
Definitely a great coach, somebody who's been there, done that. I mean, you say that your second son's neonatal stroke really kind of shattered the illusion of control for you as a type A perfectionist. I mean, did that realization that science and logic did not have all the answers begin really the journey to find a different approach for you?
100%. I mean, I remember when I was a critical care nurse and one of my dear friends was a Reiki master and she said, I want to train you in Reiki. And I was like, that's cute for you, but I don't think that's my thing. And then when my son had the stroke, there's nothing you won't do for your child as a mother, at least from my experience. And so I opened to all of it. I didn't understand it at first because, again, as you mentioned, I was rooted in logic. I was rooted in how can I prove this? And energy is hard to prove, but boy, did I learn the power of energy with my son. And I opened to all of these things. And I am an experiential learner, like many of the listeners, I'm sure. So I had to experience things in order for me to prove to not just myself, but to my surgeon husband, to my, my family, who for a long time was really looking for the, can you prove that? Well, I proved it by showing the effects of energy, of intuition, of the power of the mind, the power of belief to heal. So I've done it. I experienced it. Yeah.
The power of belief to heal. I mean, you must look back at yourself and laugh when you told her how cute that is. Reiki, that's good for you, but not for me. When your third son was diagnosed with leukemia, you integrated Reiki, mindfulness, and nutrition really into his care. Can you kind of describe how you balanced traditional medical treatments with these holistic practices, and what did that reveal to you about the body's innate ability to heal itself?
Right. Absolutely. What a great question. And I will say that I was pregnant with my fourth son when my third son had leukemia. So I really had to learn how to take care of myself and nurture myself. And the mindfulness piece came in absolutely crucial for me because if I allowed myself to get caught up in what if scenarios, that stress spin and that I couldn't control what was happening to my son, but I can control what was happening to me in the moment. I can control my energy, my positivity in the moment. And so it really showed me that Reiki and energy. My son was getting the chemotherapy, but what Reiki and the energy work did was to help clear the negative effects of the chemotherapy at the time. And the nutrition, I remember the nutritionist saying to me, just get calories in them. And I wrote my book, Family Fuel, A Busy Mom's Guide to Health and Healing, because I realized the power of our nutrition and what we're putting in, not just the quantity, but the quality of what we're putting into our bodies and how that's going to help heal cells and rejuvenate cells that we've killed with the chemotherapy. And then the power of meditation and mindset to calm the noise in our mind when we're focusing on pain, when we're focusing on the challenges and how hard life can be sometimes. It helps us shift our mind and focus on what we're grateful for. And all of these things, the mind is a very, very powerful healing tool. It can make us well, but it can also make us ill. So all of these tools, sound healing, even. My son had tremendous anxiety. So some of the sound and sound healing and art therapy and different things that really helped him wasn't going to cure him of cancer, but it was going to help him relax his nervous system and, and boost his immune system to help him fight the cancer. And that's what I focused on. Yeah.
Definitely great focus. I mean, you combine your background as a nurse, a Reiki master, and a coach. I mean, does this unique blend of medical, energetic, and practical training really inform your soul aligned coaching methodology, would you say?
Absolutely. And what's amazing is when I first started my company, Butterfly Family Wellness, 20 years ago, I was really focused on the nutritional and the physical components of health and healing. But I realized when everybody was coming to me to kind of fix them or thinking, I'm doing all these things, I'm eating right and I'm exercising, but I still don't feel well, I realized that the crucial component that I think a lot of health coaches miss, I think a lot of medical practitioners miss, is the spiritual connection and the emotional component. Stress is the root cause of about 90% of all illnesses. So when we manage stress, and that's really where my niche is a stress and resiliency coach. I have my signature ABCs of stress management that I help people awareness, breathing to balance your nervous system, and then connection to yourself, to what's going on right now, to what are my choices, what can I control in this moment. And that is the foundation of a lot of the work that I do as a coach, blending my knowledge of medicine, but also blending this mind, body, spirit medicine.
I mean, so this cliche of stress kills is not just a cliche. I mean, it is truth without a doubt. I mean, you focus specifically on helping strong, independent, multitasking women. What specific challenges or maybe even patterns of thinking do you find are most common among this group that can many times lead to burnout and overwhelm?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, the old adage, I'm fine, it's fine, everything's fine. That's a mask that many of these women, myself included, would wear. And we're so busy showing up for everybody else and trying to prove that we're strong, that we're capable, that we don't like to ask for help. We don't like to admit that we need a break. We don't like to take a break because we feel like we need to earn that break. And so that's what makes us susceptible to burnout. We are so busy running on fumes and allowing everybody to kind of draw from an energy well that is becoming quickly depleted. But we don't want to admit, because we're strong and we're independent, we don't want to admit that we need a break, or we don't want to say no to something or somebody because we are used to being needed. And this was me. This was me. And so many of these women, I find, either don't take the time for themselves, they don't allow others to help them. Those are the big challenges. They don't admit that they're not okay, even to themselves sometime. And they've been running in survival mode for so long that they don't even realize that they're in survival mode. They don't even realize that there's another way of being that's actually more life sustaining and fulfilling.
I believe that 100%. I see overachievers every day going through this. I mean, your coaching centers on helping clients quiet the ego mind and reconnect with the soul. Is there an exercise or maybe even a mental shift a client needs to make to just begin this transformation?
The biggest thing is to give themselves permission to pause, to get still, because you can't hear your soul. You can't tune into the truth of what it is that you need in the moment when you're running around and busy. And your ego mind is there to keep you safe. It's there to keep you relevant and important, but it also is trying to prove stuff. It's following the shoulds, the supposed tos. And that is not what's actually in alignment with your greatest good. Your soul is what's in alignment with your greatest good. And your soul whispers while your ego screams. So when you learn to pause, get still, and just one of the first things I tell people to do is put a hand on the heart, a hand on the stomach, and to just give yourself a moment to just breathe and feel and sense the inhalation and the exhalation. And that is where you can start to hear the whispers of your soul. What is it that you need in this moment?
What an easy step that is, and yet we don't even pause to do that. I mean, it's got to be exciting to witness that shift from ego to soul for most people. So you offer practical action steps, but also, I mean, just awareness. Before your body broke down, you struggled with chronic migraines, anxiety, IBS. What are the earliest physical signs of burnout that you now teach your clients maybe to look for so they too can pause and reset?
There's so many signs, but the subtle signs for many are trouble sleeping, trouble digesting your food, you have stomach issues, you get headaches, you get injured a lot, you get sick a lot because stress lowers the immune system. Stress suppresses the digestive system. You have trouble regulating your emotions where you find yourself really overwhelmed and reactive to things. That's a big sign that a lot of women, especially moms, find that they're snapping at people or they're, catastrophic thinking, thinking the sky is falling, and it's not. There is no danger. And so these are just the subtle signs, or you're exhausted all the time. You hit 3 o'clock and you're looking for the cup of coffee or the brownie to give you a little bump and a little boost in energy. And you have trouble getting up in the morning because you didn't sleep. A lot of women are wired and tired. They have trouble relaxing. If that's you, that's a subtle signal that you're in survival mode and you don't have to hang out there.
Wired and tired. I can't imagine how many people live in that mode. I interview many of these type A professionals every day, and many high achievers struggle deeply with setting boundaries, often finding it hard to delegate or just say no. What is the advice that you give for a client trying to establish a healthy boundary without sacrificing their career success?
Again, it starts with tuning into yourself and your energy. Sometimes we have energy. Let's say where our tank is like 100%, right? We just fueled ourselves with some gas and our body's a car, we're running on 100% full tank. Then you have the energy to say yes to more things. But when you are running on the low and you find that you're feeling overwhelmed, you really need to check in with your energy and ask yourself, number one, do I have the time and energy to say yes to that? And if the answer is no, then that's a no. And start with prioritizing the things that are important to you. Those are the things that when you only have, let's say, 20% left in your tank to give, you're going to be more discerning about what you're saying yes to. And those yeses are the things that are really important to you, that you are prioritizing, that will have an impact on your life and the things that are important to you.
Again, a very practical action step we can take. I mean, I'm a type A. I'll be honest. I don't want to give up my drive. So, can you explain what makes your signature program unique? How it moves clients from survival mode to thriving, but in a way that respects their high achieving nature?
Absolutely. Well, first off, when you cannot keep going with your foot fully on the gas, I love to use the analogy of a car, like your body is a car, your mind is an engine, and your soul is the check engine light that pops in. Well, think about that. If you're driving and driving and focused on the destination, then you're not paying attention to any of the subtle signals that are telling you, hello, need a little attention here. You're about to burn out. Your engine's about to overheat. So, giving yourself those moments to pause, to reset, to reprioritize, to reconnect is actually really empowering and productive. It's going to help you show up your best self when you need to show up your best self. It's going to refuel you and help you reprioritize because sometimes what you're focusing on isn't actually in alignment with you anymore. Maybe that high drive and that driving to get to this finish line, maybe the finish line changes, or maybe you have a really important pit stop, or life will redirect you, right? And say, you know what? Which is what happened to me, right? I had a master's in administration, but life redirected me and was like, you know what? That's really not the way that you're supposed to go. And if I was focused on keep driving, I would have been miserable. I would have burned myself out. I would have been sick. I would have not been able to be present for the things that are really important to me. And now I really prioritize being successful in what is important to me, my business and my family. And so I'm still high achieving, but I give myself permission to pause along the way to show up my best self.
So, recognizing that pause, recognizing the pit stop, and you've said that life's magic lies in our ability to pause, reset, and connect with what we need in the present moment. In a moment of absolute chaos, like a family crisis or maybe a massive professional deadline, can we still learn to enact this necessary pause strategy even then?
Absolutely. Because think about it. When we are in survival emergency mode, we are reacting and we are spinning in this stress spin where sometimes we're doing And we don't even, we're wasting time almost because we're just trying to get to these destinations. But when we're in stress mode, we drop balls, we make mistakes, we forget things. So giving yourself permission to pause, even in those moments of chaos, right? I mean, there's research that says when you're lost, don't keep moving in circles. Give yourself a moment to stay still and to look up and to figure out, okay, where am I? Well, that's the connection piece that you need in the moment. That connection to where am I right now? What do I need right now? Am I safe? Because your ego mind's going to tell you you're not safe. Keep going, keep moving, but you're actually safe. And so telling yourself, I'm going to just connect for take 2 minutes. It takes 2 minutes to reset your nervous system. Then you can actually connect to what is it that I need right here and right now? Because that's the only place that you have control is right here, right now.
Absolutely. I mean, we're thinking about tomorrow. Tomorrow takes care of itself many times. It's right now. In that moment of pause is really our inner voice. I mean, you help women find and trust their authentic voice. For the client who is deeply accustomed to listening only to external expectations and their ego mind, can you kind of guide them to finding their true inner voice? And what has been some of the feedback when these people find it?
Yeah, well, the feedback is that thank you for giving me back my life. I mean, I can't tell you how many people have said that. Like I'm I am happier than I've ever been because when you're saying yes or you're suppressing your voice, your greatest power is in your voice and in your choices. And so when you learn to speak up and to say, you know what? No, that doesn't align with me. Or, you know what? No, I don't want to do that right now. It's empowering. It can be scary in the beginning because you don't want to disappoint or you're afraid, but that's your ego. And so when you learn to be discerning and to listen to what's more aligned, and you'll know it because you'll feel it in your gut. I mean, how many of you guys have had somebody ask you for something to do something or say something to you that in your gut you get this almost like a pit in your stomach or this contracted feeling that lets you know that's not in alignment. That's a no for me. Trust it.
Yeah.
And when you trust it and you listen to the what lifts you up, what gives you energy, what kind of you get that zing, that's the yes. So when you pay attention to the full body yeses and the full body nos, it's an empowering life that you lead.
I mean, the ultimate happiness is being able to say yes to yourself. And so when we
Yeah.
say no to ourselves, we're not happy. I mean, like you said, you are in control of your health, you're in control of your happiness, and that is empowering. Jennifer, you believe success shouldn't come at the expense of well being as you help them remove that I'm fine mask and genuinely align with the inner voice to experience success, peace, and health. Is this rewarding work for you?
Oh my gosh, there's nothing better than getting the little texts from clients of mine or a nice little thank you note that I've gotten from some wonderful clients that have basically told me the things that they've been able to do. For example, I had a client that was afraid to travel. She wouldn't leave where she lived because she was in fear all the time. And she just did a medical or a mission, wasn't a medical mission, but she just did a mission to Africa. And she felt so uplifted and felt like, I can't believe that I was able to do this. And so that's stuff that I got a full body shiver right now. Those are the things that to me are completely worth it because I was able to reclaim my life. So to be able to give people little glimpses and I can't do it for them, but when I'm guiding them, they can do it and they don't need me anymore. They can do it all by themselves. That's the goal. And that's such a rewarding goal to see they don't need me. They're living their best life on their own. Powering.
When your clients win, you win. It sounds like a cliche, but honestly, the folks that really have it within their heart to help people, they feel that way. Great story. Viewers, let's take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is her website where you can see her signature program, as well as her many products that she offers. I mean, you can even take the Soul Survival Types quiz to learn more about yourself right now. In addition to one-on-one coaching, you can book her as a speaker or even watch her podcast and other media appearances that she has made out there. Once again, that is transformational coach and soul connector, Jennifer Wren Tolo. Quiet the noise and let your soul shine. This is Gary Atencio with CNTV. And if you don't know, now you know.